Before we begin, thank you very much to Iacon0 for joining my Patreon campaign. Very appreciated. Thank you very much. You pitched in at my highest level, so when you get the chance, leave me a DM, a message on Patreon somewhere, the kind of review request you have. Remember, it's not just review, it's any kind of video you want that I do. You are open to a request. Also, by the way, you people, I gotta stop doubting you. I have to stop doubting you because now I've got 5 more shout-outs I'm behind on. So, thank you very much. Do you hate my normal intro so much? I know it's a boring intro, but really, you don't want to. If you don't want to hear it, then you know that's fine by me. Anyway, I'm taking a time out from Transformers because even I cannot talk about one subject forever because I just got back from the Super Mario Brothers movie. And you have to watch me up here in the corner like a streamer because it's a hot, sweaty day in Florida. And I really don't want to be on the big screen and like full screen right now. So you get to see a slideshow of promo pictures that hopefully Illumination won't kill me over. Should be okay. But I wanted to talk about this movie because I've heard so much because like the Metacritic score on this, like the Rotten Tomato score is like right on the line. It's like it was 47%. When I last looked at it for the professional critics scores. Now keep in mind, professional critics generally don't like animated movies in general. They said the same thing about the Sonic movie, and the Sonic movie is really good. You know, maybe not the best video game adaptation I could have hoped for, but it's entirely watchable. It's a lot more enjoyable than I thought it would be. So this is one of those movies where I kind of felt like that would be the case, where a professional critic is really not going to represent what the audience would view this movie as. So, yeah, me and my friends, we are big dorks. So we get to go and watch as a group of adults going in the middle of a Wednesday to watch a children's movie in the theater. No shame here. So, how is it? So, I'm going to split this into 2 little sections. We're going to begin this with completely spoiler-free, and then I will give you like a cutoff point. I will give you like a hard cutoff point before we go into the spoilers, and then if you don't want to, if you want to go see the movie yourself, because then don't watch any further. So, overall thought. I really like this movie. So, the one thing, the critics will go like, well, it's made for children. Well, it's just made for kids. It's obvious from the first scene that this is made for children. It's Mario. Please tell me anything made of Super Mario that wasn't made for kids. Please, enlighten me. Enlighten me about the R-rated Mario where he's fighting in a zombie apocalypse, right? Remind me like the real-time strategy game where Mario conquers, Russia. Tell me that game, because I haven't seen it. I have not seen it. It's absurd. It's absurd and ridiculous. Of course it's made for kids. It's Mario, and it's Illumination doing a Mario movie. So it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. It goes by quick. This is like just over an hour and a half, and it is a very quick, tight hour and a half. There's no real room for fluff. They kind of just hit. So the movie flies by as a result, and I really kind of sat there going, I could really do this as a 2-hour movie. If they wanted to throw in a few other scenes, like I would have been down for that. But as it stands, it's a very clean movie, does not waste time. The kind of movie that makes an editor happy because there's really no fat to trim. It's just a really like tight movie. The voice acting. So, the voice acting for everyone is actually really good. I have no complaints over anyone's vocal performances. Everyone seemed like they were doing what they were supposed to do, and everything sounded really, really good. I'm trying to think if there's any vocal performance that I was like, meh, kind of not feeling, but I think for the most part, yeah. I think for the most part, the voices were good. The Chris Pratt voice, I think, is what everyone was so scared about. I will tell you this. Once we really got into the Mushroom Kingdom, I kind of forgot I was listening to Chris Pratt. it just like kind of became Mario. No, he's not doing like the traditional Mario accent, but watching the movie and the pacing of the movie and like how fast like some of the dialogue's going by, that heavy Italian accent, the comically heavy Italian accent, I can imagine that would get very exhausting to listen to, and it's really not going to convey the movie properly. I think they actually made the right decision. He does pepper the dialogue. Like, his dialogue is peppered with Mario-isms. So it does, from time to time, sound properly Mario, even without the heavy accent. And it sounds good. It sounds fine. Like, after a while, he just kind of blends in, and yeah, that's Mario on the screens. I forget that I'm listening to Star-Lord. So that was the one worry I had going in, and thankfully, the movie kind of proved my concerns wrong. Everything else is delightful. The characters, considering that the characters are like, this is something of an origin story for Mario and the Mushroom Kingdom, the characters still feel very much like them. I mean, a few exceptions here, but like Luigi is still like dead on what Luigi is, right? Princess is much closer to her modern depictions than her traditional. There's, so the characters go well. And the music, oh my God. I'm not, okay, aside from a few licensed songs that were used as kind of like, kind of referential, almost comedically used, but also still sounding really cool in the moments they picked for it. They are, like, the music, it's really good. It's so good. And I'm not sure, outside the licensed ones, I'm not sure if there's any music in this movie that wasn't a orchestral version of a classic Super Mario song. You could hear music from the original Super Mario in here, from Galaxies, from 64 and Sunshine. They went all over the map. And it's a wonderful soundtrack. Absolutely wonderful soundtrack. I'm trying to think, what else can I mention without getting into spoiler territory? Because I really want to get into spoiler territory. I guess it doesn't spoil to tell a lot of the references you're going to spot during this movie. I guess it is kind of spoilery because some people want to find them on their own. But there's a ton. There's an absolute ton. It's a blast when you hear them. It's a blast when you see them. So, and then, like, I think the only other thing is, like, I can talk about Bowser for a little bit. Bowser is, okay, so Jack Black does great as Bowser. And now that I've seen him in the movie, now I understand why they went with Jack Black. Now I understand why they went with Jack Black, for what they were going through with Bowser. And it's strange, because we really should start talking spoilers if I'm going to keep going. All right, so I've given you a fair warning. So, if you want to go see this movie, if you're even remotely curious, please go see the movie, all right? So I would say this is, like, not only, like, shockingly accurate, like, as far as, like, a depiction of a video game movie, way more than almost every other video game movie I've ever seen. Possibly the most accurate I've seen as far as a video game movie goes. There's a ton of heart and love for the Mario franchise in the movie that you're going to pick up on if you're a longtime fan. So, that's my general opinion. It is absolutely worth going to see. Screw the critics. Screw the Rotten Tomato score. They don't know what fun is. This movie is a lot of fun that I could have used more of. All right, so this is the point. I'm 9 minutes into my recording. I think this is a nice hard cutoff point to where we can start talking a few spoilers and actually talk about the nitty-gritty of the movie, okay? So, oh my God. Where to begin? Where to begin? So I stopped on Bowser, and I stopped because I started to think, okay, this is actually a spoiler, because this is a great twist. So the characterization they went with Bowser is actually very much correct and traditional for Bowser, in that he's not really interested in conquering the world and conquering the Mushroom Kingdom. He's after Peach. He's in love with Peach. And he's crooning about it. So they went, like, Jack Black went full Tenacious D with his performance in here. I'm not kidding. He sings. He sings. Oh, and it is full, like, sounds like a Tenacious D song. It's hilarious. And it really does. Like, if you think of Bowser not as like the terrifying villain that, you know, the trailers depict him in, if you're actually like imagining Bowser the way he is in many of the games, where like just capture, like with Mario Odyssey, all he wanted to do was marry Peach. That's basically what happens in this movie. So that plays a much more comedic Bowser than I was expecting, and a very enjoyable Bowser at that. I mean, it's a perfect, like, that makes Jack Black like perfect casting for it. Peach herself, my God, you almost start to wonder why she needs Mario. Because she's running the courses, she's wall jumping, she's using power-ups, she gets a fire flower, that's in the trailer, she gets an ice flower later, that's great. She goes like full Elsa, which is wonderful. Keep in mind, like, I watched the Super Mario Brothers Super Show cartoon. Yeah, and like, I can remember that's like there's a ton of episodes. That's like a 60-odd episode cartoon. Princess got to have a power-up once. One time in the entire course of the original Super Mario cartoon did she get a power-up. She gets 2 in this movie. And she actually gets to act like a hero, which, you know, like, she's not the damsel in distress. If anything, Luigi is the damsel in distress, because he's very much playing up the modern depiction of Luigi as someone who is ultimately, like, cowardly unless his brother is there, or unless he really has to, like you know, work up the nerve and, like, man up. So I don't even like the word man up. Even that's kind of an ugly phrase, and that's not a correct phrase to use. So, but it really like getting his nerve up and like really like going for it. Like when he has to, he does, and that's kind of what happens in the movie. So I think Luigi was played off pretty well, even though, yes, he kind of gets the short end of the stick, as Luigi tends to do, but they did a good job of it. I don't think Luigi felt like too much of a coward, or the replacement for the damsel in distress. What do you even call the male damsel in distress? What's the male version of a damsel? I've never had to think of that word before. I'm sure it exists. I'm sure it exists somewhere. But so the main cast is all just brilliant, and Toad's great too. Like, I love the idea, like, the traditional Toad is the only one that's really brave. All the other ones are just kind of like, sit in my castle cowardly, and then we're just going to stick to ourselves. We get one brave Toad who's great comic relief. Really, and again, really well performed. I wish he got a little bit more of, yeah, like in this shot, like when they start rocking up in the Mario Karts and he just rolls up in a monster truck, it's hilarious. Like, it's absolutely hilarious. So he's great for comedic hits. I wish he got to do a little bit more in the hero role, but yeah, I understand. It's the first movie, got to give it to Mario, and in this case, Peach. Here's what I didn't expect out of the characterization. So we kind of knew this was going to be origin story Super Mario. And if you know the original Super Mario Brothers Super Show and the opening depicting the Mario Brothers getting sucked down the drain and ending up in the Mushroom Kingdom, that's pretty much how it works here. It's just like somewhere deep under Brooklyn, there is a pipe that leads to the Mushroom Kingdom that they stumble into. So that, I mean, it's the origin story for them. What I did not expect was an origin for Peach, who have also appeared in the Mushroom Kingdom from a warp pipe. Not necessarily from Earth, but she came from somewhere else. And it's rare when you actually lampshade the fact that in the Mushroom Kingdom, especially for the early games, there's only 3 humans, Mario, Luigi, and Princess. And for some reason, the princess of the Toad people, the Mushroom people, is a human. What? Wait. Did we even ever think about that? The fact that this entire race of mushrooms is led by the one human female they ever found? So that was so they actually kind of explain it in this movie. You know, and it's actually interesting. It's weird to think that, like, yeah, there's an origin story for Peach, and I never even considered that before. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant thing to bring up, because, like, there's a moment when Mario and Peach first meet where she goes, "You're a human? Oh my God." And it's great. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a fantastic little moment, fantastic little thing to bring up. So yeah, it's kind of an isekai movie, as we've stated. The finals, like, there's two scenes, like, here's the thing, like, so, like, it's a very fast-paced movie. Like, we go right from the meeting to, like, training Mario, and it does very much look like someone who's learning to play Mario for the first time, figuring out the jumps and the tricks and all the obstacles. I do think they did a great job with that. The power-ups work just like they do in the games. He eats a mushroom, it gets big. Sometimes it gets small if it's the wrong mushroom. And if he gets hit with anything, he loses the powers. Perfect. Like, it's depicted perfectly. It's genius is what it is. It's, it blends the world and utilizes it great. But we roll right into, like, the Donkey Kongs and getting them to start getting their army to team up with the Mushroom Kingdom to go against the Koopas, and it's that whole sequence is great. I love they kept this, like, they kind of have this, like, rivalry thing. It's like starting off as enemies and then being forced to kind of work together to get out of some bad situations. But DK and Mario have this great little rivalry dynamic, which plays very well to their game history. And it works out. It works out. Like, so DK actually plays a much bigger part in the movie than I expected. And even DK gets to use a fire flower, that's another cool moment. DK in the next Mario game, please. Please. I'm as I'm remembering the movie, as I'm going through the movie, I'm trying to remember, like, all the the Easter eggs too. I want to roll the Easter eggs in at the end. And just kind of, like, see how many of them I can remember, because it's crazy how referential this game gets, or this movie gets. This is how close it is. I feel like I watched a video game. But the Donkey Kong scene leads into the scene you see in all the trailers, which is the Mario Kart scene with, like, 100 carts going down the track. And it's the Donkey Kongs. The Donkey Kongs are the key to the tech in this world, which, if you think about it, we're talking about... we're talking about an entire civilization who in game can weaponize barrels and coconuts for both weaponry and transport, and, like, okay, fair enough. That actually makes sense. And when you realize Donkey Kong might be why cart is spelled differently, it's spelled with a K in this universe. Okay, all right. I'll give that to you. The Donkey Kongs can be in charge of the carts. Yeah, I think Donkey Kong's VA played a great one too. You'll excuse me if I can't remember the celebrity names, because I'm very behind on celebrities. I don't want to get anyone's name wrong, because I'd rather mention nobody, because then, like, I don't get grilled in the comments. But, like, the scene on Rainbow Road is absolutely outstanding. What you don't see in the trailers too much is the Koopa ambush that happens on Rainbow Road, and it's like a super epic version of Mario Kart going on with, like, 200, multiple tracks, 200 odd vehicles. An explanation for the blue shell. We actually meet a Koopa general who is the one wearing a blue shell, and throughout all the video games, we never see a flying spiny blue shell in any source except Mario Kart as the ultimate weapon. In this movie is the first time we've seen a Koopa wearing a flying spiny blue shell. How weird is that? The Illumination goofball kid movie actually got to do that. It's fantastic. Like, I love seeing it. How many other things can I bring up? That scene was epic. That leads into, like, final scene where it's basically Mario and Luigi against Bowser in the real world. They all get sucked back into Brooklyn for the final fight. So you actually get a chance for Mario to be the hero in front of everyone who put him down, and the people who did not believe in him, which includes his father and most of his family who includes the original voice of Mario. Everyone upset that he didn't get to portray the part throughout the whole movie. Again, I feel like they made the right call. I mean, I hate to admit it, but yes, there is something to adding a big star's name to the marquee in the lead role. But, like, I don't think Charles Martinet got the short end of the stick. He got two roles. One is Mario's father, where he kind of got to play the voice straight-laced, and he does a great job. And then Giuseppe, I think, is part of the extended family somewhere. There's a lot of Mario family in this movie. And he is just straight up Marioisms from the games. So you actually do get to hear them. Speaking of things you hear, oh my god, like even the sound effects from the game are perfectly represented and recreated in this movie. Everything has the sound effect you would expect. Everything looks and acts the way you expect from the video games. When I call this is like the most accurate video game movie I've ever seen in my life, that is not a joke. That is not an exaggeration. It is they go to extremes to be accurate to the games, and it is a wonderful thing to see. Whew. I've already talked 20 minutes. I feel like I could talk another 20 minutes about this movie. Like, I'm trying to figure out where's the good cutoff point. Because there's other things, like, even in, like, rambling through this, like, I wish I had time to take notes. But there's just so many things I could bring up that just were super cool moments to watch. And, like, but I don't want to spoil it too much, because I want you to experience those things, too. I just want you to show, like, this is how like good they did this. This is how good they did this. I do mention the one thing I didn't want to pull back to is the Bowser relationship with Peach, where like he doesn't want to. He's conquering these kingdoms to get the Power Star, and that's really just his way of impressing Peach, so she'll marry him. And the main animosity comes from the fact that she seems to like Mario more than Bowser. Which, gee, I wonder why. So it's funny to me because like, here's the thing. Mario does like there is a scene where they actually joke that like Mario's flirting with Peach, like that they're flirting with each other, and it is lampshaded, and Mario gets embarrassed over it. Peach does not. We can visually see Mario blushing over this whole thing. So we actually do show like, okay, he's attracted to her, but she is very much the way she is in the video games, where if she is attracted to Mario, she's cool about it, right? Like, she just plays it straight-laced. They don't officially couple anybody in this movie. They don't ship anybody, so it's mostly used as a gag, right? So I am glad that they kind of stuck to, like, the formula of the games for that. I just wanted to pull back to that. Okay, so let me go through kind of like Easter egg things. So like Shy Guys make an appearance in the movie, which is great, and they have their own fort, and they aren't shown with the rest of Bowser's minions, which is correct. When I say this is dead accurate to how the games work, even the Shy Guys are in the movie, but they are not part of Bowser's forces. They kind of capture Luigi, dump him off with Bowser, and I don't think we see him again for the rest of the movie. I don't think they're even in the big battle. That's exactly right. That is exactly right. That is Shy Guys. They're not Bowser's minions. So, perfect depiction again. Like, boom, boom, boom. I think the only issue I had with the movie was there is a Luma in the movie. And for some reason, they decided that the best joke for this super cute, bright, colorful character is super nihilistic. So like, it's funny at first, and then I think it goes too far. Like, I could definitely use like a Blu-ray cut of this movie where they tone him down a little bit from being like super dark and depressing. Because it's a funny gag, but I think they overplay it. So that's about my one grievance. I think that's the only thing with it that I think misfired for me, especially considering the things he talks about, and it's a kids movie. But I'd briefly mention that. Let me finish up here by rattling off as many of the references as I can remember. So the background shots, you're going to see both Kid Icarus and the original Donkey Kong being played as video games. You're going to see references to Punch-Out. Glass Joe has a picture in the Punch-Out Pizzeria. Jumpman, there's a reference to that is visible. The Cheap Cheap Bridge makes an appearance. Bomb Battlefield makes an appearance. There's a scene in Brooklyn that recreates World War I. That's spectacular. There's a herd of Yoshis running in the background for one shot. They don't show up in any other point in the movie, but they do tease that they might be the focus of a potential sequel, so that's cool. Which, by the way, mid-credit sequence, post-credit sequence. So stay through the end of the credits. What else? The Super Mario Bros. Super Show theme is played. Of course, we saw that in one of the commercials. The voice of the woman in that commercial is the voice actress of the original Peach. And in the crowd during DK and Mario's fight, there is the original voice actor from the Donkey Kong Country cartoon, the guy who first played DK. That's a pull. When I talk when I talk about they went the extra mile for this movie, and just like you could tell someone running this movie loves Mario and loves the Nintendo universe. That's what I mean. Super deep cuts. You're also going to see Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong in the crowd for the arena. Rainbow Road, obviously, which I don't guess is not a reference. It's right there. God, there's so many. I was joking with my friend, like, once this movie comes out on in digital or Blu-ray, someone is going to frame by frame this and get all of those references, and it's just going to be absolutely amazing. There is someone in the shop selling antiques and their 8-bit sprites. There is someone, one of the Kongs is wearing the number 64 on their uniform. There's the GameCube tone. You're going to hear the GameCube startup noise as a ringtone. You see what I'm going through here? Like, as I'm struggling to remember them all, and I'm still remembering more, and just kind of rattling them off, and it's just all over the place. And there's just, you could tell how much just genuine love and attention there is in this movie for the entirety of the franchise. You know, you're getting references from the original Super Mario Brothers to Super Mario 3D Land with like clear warp pipes, and Super Mario 3D World with raccoon suits instead of just the raccoon tail power up. Okay, so tail spinning Bowser shows up. They tail spin Bowser like Mario 64. King Boo and King Babam show up. What else? Oh my God, there's so much. There's so much. Even as I'm saying some, I know that I had some in mind and I'm forgetting them again. It's just like, it's crazy. It's crazy how detailed this movie is. I'm going to leave it at that because I'm going to lose my mind if I go any further. And I'm probably going to upset people who want to see it for them, who want to catch Easter eggs for themselves. But now you know which ones to look for. And I've not even like scratched the surface. There's so many. Yeah, this is a wonderful movie. Screw the critic scores. I had a lot of fun watching this. Yes, it is made for kids, but everything Mario is. So if you enjoy things that are Mario, you're going to enjoy the movie. And if you're a longtime fan of the franchise, oh my God, you're going to have a blast with this. So that's the review. Screw the critics. Screw the haters. You are not breathing the copium believing that this movie's good when all the critics say it's bad. It's not bad. It is not. It is the farthest thing from bad. This is so much fun. I enjoyed the Sonic movie for what it was. I enjoyed this way more, just as a Mario fan and just as a cartoon guy in general. So that's the review. Go watch the movie for yourself. It is worth the admission price. And I mean, there's no way this isn't going to do well. It's a Mario Brother movie. But it has me very excited and hopeful for what they could do for a sequel. Could they do, like, can we tease more on Princess's origins by bringing in the other human princesses like Daisy and Rosalina? Can we bring in Wart to be like the next villain now that Bowser's kind of handled? Or can we find some way of making Bowser threatening again for another round? Can we bring in Bowser Jr.? Does he spring his dad from his imprisonment and then they go off to their next like big scheme? How many sequels does it take before Wario and Waluigi show up? And I would go for a Mario Cinematic Universe at this point after this movie. All right, so now I really am ending it. Thank you guys for watching. Go watch the movie. It's worth it. Screw the critics. I'll see you next time. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.